Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Agent Box, live on Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock from the UK. So good morning from the UK, but it could be afternoon or evening wherever you are. My name is Sham. I'm one of your hosts with my colleague.
And this is a beer, and a very happy Eid Mubarak to everyone who is celebrating. We celebrated Eid yesterday, but our South Asian colleagues are celebrating today. So a very, very happy Eid Mubarak to all of you out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Anybody around the world celebrating Eid, look, a very big Eid Mubarak from the Agent Box. Well, listen, on that, actually, Abir, what have you been up to this week, man? I suspect you, how have your celebrations been? What have you been doing?
A lot of the celebrations are unmentionable, so I will not mention it.
Yeah, I bet they are.
But we had a good day off in the middle of the week, so it felt like a 2-day work week and 1 day off, and then 2-day work week. So it's a good week.
Okay, good.
What have you been up to? Did you do
Yeah,
anything?
but pretty much the same, man. You guys know I've got some building work because going on at home. I've been drowning in this, to be honest with you. But still, it was good. We went out last night, big, gathering. There was a lot of people. Really good fun. It was nice to just be out and about yesterday. So yeah, all good, all good. Right. Anyway, listen, guys. So today we want to talk about something that's we're actually going to go right back to basics. Okay, we've been thinking about this, and it's one of those things that I sometimes it's always good, and I've done this when I was worked at the university. It's always good to take a moment and actually go back to basics. Actually think about what is it that we're trying to achieve. What is it that we're trying to do here? Why are we, doing what we're doing? And I think this week I wanted to address a very, very, very basic fundamental question. And that question simply is, why do universities work with agents? Okay, now it might sound like a stupid thing to talk about, but it's not. I'll tell you in a minute why. So this question of why do agents, a lot of us that have set up companies or entered the sector in recent years, might be thinking this is how it's always been. But in actual fact, this is not true. It's probably a phenomenon that's been fairly active for the last 30 years probably. Before that, as you go further back, it was something that was non-existent or very rarely existed. But over the last 30 years, I think working with agents has become more and more established in more and more universities. But still, I don't know whether people know this, there are 22%, this is official stats coming out of various different sort of places, about 22% of British universities don't work with agents. You know what I mean? They all tend to be in the Russell Group type of universities, but they actually don't work with agents. So not every university in the UK works with agents. I think we can pretty much say that as a statement of fact. But the question is, why do the vast majority of university work with agents?
And before we go into the details, I would like to ask the agents ourselves, do we even think of this question? Why that particular university wants to work with us?
Well, this is the reason why we're discussing this on the Agent Box, is because actually, if we answer that question, or if we explore this question of why do universities work with us, it leads us to an answer of what the universities want from us. Okay, and that then gives us a moment to reflect: are we delivering what the universities want us to deliver? Because there are lots of assumptions in this statement. There's a lot of assumptions. It's anybody watching this show will be looking at that thinking, well, of course I know why they work with agents. But the question is, do you? You understand? And we'll talk about that in just a sec. But Abir, let's hear your thoughts just off the bat. You know what I mean? Why do you think universities work with agents?
To be honest, the most common answer, or when I was a bit premeditative, and then I would always think that, oh, the university wants more students, so maybe they want to work with us because I have access to the market, I can help with the visa and all that, and maybe that's why the universities work with me. But in reality, is that the right question? That's my question to you. Why, from a university point of view, why do they work with an agent?
Well, okay, I'm going to say this, right? And as you guys know, I've worked at a number of UK universities, right? So, and I've always been involved with agent stuff and all the rest of it. And also, I've been fortunate enough, privileged enough to be invited at least 2 or 3 times to run training sessions for British universities around why you want to work with agents or how you're supposed to work with agents. So there is, I've got that perspective now. I don't know how many people know this, but I think the most recent statistic that's come out that a lot of people out there, a lot of experts out there are saying, although it's very difficult to quantify in the UK. I think that's the first statement, that you don't know. It's very difficult to quantify as a sector in the UK how many international students come through agents. But I can tell you this, right? That the experts reckon it's about 50%. Universities that I've worked in, it ranged between 30% and 40%. Now, what do I mean? So imagine a university has recruited 1,000 international students, right? In some cases, there are 300 to 400 students have come through an agent route. That means that 600 or 700 students have come directly to that university without the need of any agent. If we go by the experts' view of 50%, then okay, 500 students came through the agents, 500 students came directly. Now, what does that mean for a university? The university had to pay £2,000 or £3,000 for the 500 students that it recruited through the agents, and paid £0 to the other 500 students that were recruited directly. So any agent in any market watching this show right now, I can tell you this, that your partner university is marketing itself in your country right now, more than likely. So they are competing with you. The same group of students that you are looking to recruit, that you want to come through your agency, the university on social media, on advertising platforms, and all sorts of different sort of places is promoting itself to those students.
So I have a
Now,
question for you here.
yeah.
So from a university hierarchy point of view, do they prefer direct students or do they prefer students to agents, and why?
Well, this is the question, isn't it? This is the heart of the question that we're asking. Why do universities work with agents? Put yourselves in the university shoes and then think about, why would you want to work with an agent? I can send direct marketing materials out into the market. We live in a digital world. People can go and have a look on my website. As a university, they can go and take a virtual campus tour. All of the information is available to them, right? And on top of that, I'm spending significant budgets on international marketing. I'm marketing myself on various different platforms. There's platforms, that there are companies that exist just to promote universities, and people are using those platforms. And they get those applications coming to them directly. The fundamental, in a nutshell, and you're not wrong, Abir, that they do want more students, and that's why they want to work with agents. But in a nutshell, they want the agents to convert more of their international applications than what they can do directly. Because whilst they're advertising themselves in that market, whilst they are pushing themselves and applications are coming in, they can get thousands upon applications, but they don't have the infrastructure, because they're based here in the UK, to work with individual students one by one to get that student moving along the student journey. They don't have the capacity. Having said that, many universities in the UK are using, certainly through the pandemic, they've been using webinars and that online presence to try and work with individual students to get them converted. But it's still not the same as working, face to face, holding a student's hand.
So what I'm hearing here is basically what you're talking about is having control over your inflow of students, to qualify the students, whether they're qualified, whether they're the right fit for my university. So is that what I'm hearing? Is that what you're
Absolutely. People always focus in that the fundamental role of an agent is to make sure the student gets a visa. That's incorrect. Okay. The issue here is the number of students applying to any university. Think about it. If you're a student sat in your bedroom, you've got a laptop, you've got internet, you can go on a university website, you can find out about that university, you can send off an inquiry, you can apply within minutes. Okay. You can do all of that. And thousands upon thousands of students are doing just that right now. Okay. They are applying directly. The problem from the university's point of view is that how do I now know which one is a good applicant that is prepared, meaning not just academically good, but actually has the money, has the capability, knows what is going on, versus the one that doesn't. And this is where the agent can play a significant role. Now, the question here, though, is if I'm an agent and I am not managing my student pipeline correctly, am I of any value to my partner university?
They can just get rid of me.
That's a question that needs to be asked. And it is a question, I'm not being funny, Abir, that I used to ask as head of service, as a senior member of the international team. I have asked this question. I've looked at my agents and I've asked this question because, look, most British universities, right? Most universities are concerned and are looking at their conversion rates. So they're looking at the number of applications that are coming in, how many of those are being accepted and offered on, how many of those are getting rejected, how many of those are getting conditional offers, unconditional. They're doing all of this for both direct and agent applications. They're doing it for both. Okay. So it's not very hard for them to be able to see whether an agent is converting better or lower than what they're doing directly. It is very easy for them to figure that stuff out. And if you find that the agent is adding no value to this journey, then there is a question mark here as to whether you want to work with that agent. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I wanted to go back to basics and ask this fundamental question, that we assume that the agents, that the universities are just, they're clueless. They don't know anything about the market. You know, take, for example, Abir, I know you were based in Bangladesh. You know, most people will think, oh, the universities don't know anything about Bangladesh. They just don't know what they're doing. So they're wholly reliant on you as the agent to tell them what's happening and what kind of student they need to recruit. That is completely false.
And also right now, in the present world, no university work exclusively one single agent. So the flow of information is just not through me or you for that matters.
Absolutely. Let me tell you this, dude. You know, there are many, many markets around the world where I have traveled where we had no agents at all. We don't have an agent in that market. And I have traveled to that market to do events, to do fairs, to do just on my own. I've contacted the British Council and I've said, look, I'm coming out to your market. Can you help me do some marketing? I want to see some students. And I've not used any agents at all. So I have gathered information only when I feel that I have a foothold in that market. That market actually is quite good. Then I've gone and looked for agents, right? Who can I work with to increase my understanding, revenue from that market? But understanding the market is not something that I rely wholly on my agents for, right? The flip side of this is also true, that I can only go to a market maybe once or twice a year. If I work with agents, then they are in the market all of the time and they're promoting my brand, my university, 365 days of the year.
But at the same time, the question remains whether I, as an agent, is adding value to the university, whether I'm giving them that access to the market, and also at the same time, whether I'm providing them with that data. Okay, this is the demography, this is the student that you're looking for, this many students wants to go. So do you have control over your pipeline? So a lot of the times,
this is exactly what this conversation needs to go to. Do you know what I mean? That as an agent, are you just blindly sending through? Imagine, right? And I know there are some agents that have fallen foul of this, where they've sent hundreds, if not thousands, of applications to British universities without really qualifying them, without really understanding whether the student is good or bad or whatever. There's a saying in English, you throw enough mud at something, some of that mud will stick. So that is the attitude, that you throw lots of applications, some of those are going to stick. I know of agents where they've had that attitude, that was their strategy. And what happened in the end was that university said, no, I don't want to work with you anymore, because there is no point in me working with you.
I'll give you an analogy. I think that applies here. So a few years back in my previous role, I had to hire someone to help me out with my role responsibilities. And then after a few months, I found out that that particular person is not helping me. In fact, I have to monitor them so much that is affecting my productivity. And in fact, I am doing more than I was supposed to do, even after having that person. And then I have to let that person go. So I think the same analogy applies here with the university as well. So they expected us to ease off their workload. So even without even doing that, if we increase their workload to going through my applications that these are not qualified, so whether, again coming back to your question, that whether it is worth having me as an agent.
Absolutely, man. Look, before we move this conversation a bit more further, we're already 15 minutes in, man. I need to say that, look, the agent box this is an obligation that I have. The agent box is sponsored by Sam CRM, and it's Sam CRM that allows us to do what we do. Please head over to their website, samcrm.co.uk, and have a look. Basically, Sam CRM is a CRM product designed by agents for agents, and there's an email address, sales@crm.co.uk, that you can contact if you want to find out more. And everything that we're talking about, and we will be talking, and we have been talking about, actually lends us as agents to consider what kind of technology, what kind of management tools that we have to monitor our pipeline. Because ask yourself, honestly, ask yourself this question. That Abir raised a very good thing, that how much information do I provide my university? How much insight can I provide my university? That is not anecdotal. There's a lot of anecdotal information out there. Oh, I think, I feel over the last 10 years, this has happened. No, prove it. Show statistics that, look, over the last 10 years as an agent that I've been working, this is the number of students that I've had. These are the subject areas that they've been doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Having a CRM definitely helps you to do that. Whether you choose to take Sam CRM or another CRM, that's up to you. But the point is, consider those management tools. But anyway, dude, what I want to look, we're going to run out of time again. I mean, the producers asked us to try and keep this to 20 minutes. Okay. But I kind of get a feeling might end up being 25. But the thing that I wanted to get back to, right, is, okay, so if you are working as an agent, right, and you're actually doing your counseling correctly, and you are managing your students correctly, then what you bring to a university is the ease of recruitment. It becomes a cost-effective way for the university to recruit. Now, what do I mean? The university is paying you commission. So they offset that commission cost, and it is still worth their while because they want to recruit more students through an agent quickly and cheaply. That commission payment is less expensive than sending a member of staff out 8 times a year to a particular market. But if you are not delivering that, if you're just simply an application processor, you're an application factory, and you've got no idea how many of those students are going to end up enrolling, you just want to send as many as you can and see what happens, then as far as the university is concerned, this is not cost effective. Why? Because the university is having to pay admissions staff to process every single one of those applications. And they have to grow their admissions team. They have to employ more people, costing them much more money to basically process your applications, which are not then enrolling. This becomes
and also it affects the productivity, turnaround time, so their overall performance in the market will affect because of one bad agent.
Yes, absolutely. The other thing as well, guys, and I really urge all of our viewers, anybody engaging with the agent box, to actually take time and have a look at this stuff. There is so much material out there. People are writing so much stuff around agents and how universities work with agents. This is an absolute hot topic at the moment, and none of it is positive. That's my problem. They will usually say something like, oh yeah, of course, there are good agents, there are but then immediately they will focus on what they call unscrupulous agents. I read some stuff very recently where they're talking about agents that are, offering fake documents, that are, stumping up the funds to get the CAS, that are simply just doing whatever, rogue. They use words like unscrupulous agents, rogue actors. This is the vocabulary that experts are using, senior level experts are using when they're talking about agents. And it all links back to this question: why are you using agents in the first place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know?
And to all our agent friends out there, if you're doing any of those stuffs, you are just shooting yourself in your feet, man.
Absolutely. I mean, there's the look. I think. Look, I think that's a given. And I have a lot of time. I always have. I mean, now I'm an agent myself, but even when I wasn't an agent, I was very much the agent's advocate. Okay, it was something that I promoted because I've seen excellent work done by agents. I've worked with some really class, companies that are, brilliant in what they do. But equally, I'm fully aware of some really dodgy people out there that are, trying all sorts of different styles and means to try and get students in. And I think we need to be so careful, and we need to ask this question. We need to understand, we need to get our counselors, our staff, to ask this question: that why does a university even want to work with me? What is it that I'm supposed to give that agent, that university, that they don't get from the direct applicants that are coming through? And if we can't answer that, if we're not sure if the answers to those questions are not for public consumption, then we've got a problem, right? If we don't want to discuss this publicly, then that is a problem here. And you know what we're going to do, guys? What we're going to do, myself, Abir, and the producer, we've sat down and we've looked at some stuff. We've got a series of topics that we're going to be talking about over the next several weeks that are going to be linked to these kind of issues, right?
I think the following week's topic is directly relevant to what we're talking today. So if we are not performing as an agent, if we are not due diligent in our duties, whether the universities will keep us or they might terminate us. So what are the consequences? What is happening with that?
Absolutely. And we'll delve into that next week. I think that will be quite a good kind of segue from this topic. But it is very, very important, guys, that we don't just view the agents as one homogenous, the universities as one homogenous group, and they're just dumb. They don't know. They're reliant. And we get that impression sometimes from the way the university delegates talk to us. University delegates are trained. The international office staff are trained in customer care. These guys are going to be nice to you. That's their job. They're going to come to you and they're going to make you feel like $1 million. And they're going to be like, oh my God, you guys are such experts in what you're doing. If we just hear that stuff and we have this inflated ego and we think, okay, I'm in charge, I'm the boss, I'll send them whatever I want to send them. Very mistaken, guys. Because behind those international people that you're meeting in the market are people like me, who are very cynical, been around the block. I've seen every kind of agent that there is, and I'm not alone when it comes to this. There are a lot of people that I know that are, heads of international, that are director of international. These guys are not to be messed around with. These guys, they know exactly what they're doing, and they are ruthless in the way that they are, looking at the market. And it's very different from that nicey, the international officer coming out, or, even, regional officers, regional managers coming out. Their job is to be nice. Their job is to be nice. Their job is to encourage you, to make you feel really good about yourself, and, for your counselors to feel really good. But behind them, there are some serious people looking at this in the cold light of day and saying, hang on a second, the data will tell me whether I want to work with this agent or not. Look,
so
Amir,
to summarize our whole conversation today. So why do universities work with agents? It's not that you are an application processor, rather than you have to be their extension of the international office, and you have to have control of that market and pipeline. That's why universities work with agents, I think.
Absolutely. Very well put, Abir. Very well put. I mean, and I think, look, guys, we're gonna finish it in the next few seconds. But you know what, guys, this is an important topic. Please talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about this, because I think 99% of all agents are genuine, good, solid people that are, making a living through quite a tough business, actually, but a very rewarding business. But there are certain agents, and I'm sure a lot of us know who they are, or we've come across people like that are just out there trying to mess around and make a quick buck. And if you are working in an agency where you think this kind of stuff is going on, feel confident to whistleblow. Bring that to the attention of the owners. You know what I mean? And raise it as a discussion point. Is this something that we want to do? Obviously don't compromise your position within that company, but highlight the fact that there might be practices that you're not comfortable with, that that don't make us efficient, that don't actually help with the student recruitment journey, and go against what the universities are actually looking to achieve by working with agents. Look, folks, that's it. We as always, we always go over the time allocated by the producer, and it's one of those things. You guys know me. I think those of you who have been watching this regularly will know I like to talk a lot, and I could talk about this issue for hours on end. And I sometimes feel I don't give it. No, sometimes I do. Sometimes I feel that I don't give you more of more airtime. So
no. You are the star of the show. You are the right.
No, learn to interrupt.
To be honest, for me, I feel this is a learning opportunity because you have decades and decades of experience. You have seen every side of the coin. So I personally feel it's a very enrichment and enlightenment opportunity for all of us hearing to you. So don't bother. Stop as much as you can.
Listen, folks, it's not true, but I do appreciate Abir saying that. Okay, guys, that's it. Look, the Agent Box comes to you, sort of every Thursday, 11 o'clock, sponsored by Sam CRM. Head over to our website, actually, theagentbox.co.uk. Like I said last week, it's not fully complete yet, but we're getting there. Obviously, look, we're volunteers on the Agent Box. We have day jobs, including our producer. So we are working with it slowly, bear with us. I think we've got our episodes now on LinkedIn, on Facebook, various different platforms. Really, really appreciate people, sort of watching it, but also on social media, guys, follow us, follow us. It's a massive help. It makes us actually, we're able to bring more content with, to you. If you follow us on social media, become part of our wider kind of family of viewers. This is really, really important.
And also, if you want to showcase your business or product here with us, we would love to hear about them as well. So get in touch with that, and we can have a discussion regarding that as well.
Absolutely. Look, week on week, our readership is growing. Okay, our viewership is growing. So we're really keen to be able to kind of carry on doing what we're doing, and in fact make it even better. Actually, grow the Agent Box into a proper voice. So the more people that engage with us, the more, sort of followers that we have on social media, that makes a big difference to what we're doing. But for now, for today, thank you very much indeed for listening and watching. And we'll be back with you next week. I just want to say, I think on April the 25th, we've got an episode, but I am hoping to be overseas. I'm heading off to Africa, I think, subject to getting visas and this and that. But I'm heading over to Africa. So it might be a case of Abir doing it on his own, or we might reschedule. We'll let you know. But
just keep following us on our social media handles, and you will be updated like what's going on.
Well, that's it from me, Sham Ghani, and my colleague Abir. Thanks again for another week, and we'll see you definitely next week. Thanks a lot, folks.